Hey everybody, it's Mike Sherwood and welcome to my YouTube channel, Don't Waste Your Life, where we remind you to be present, to be happy, and to be thankful. If you're new to the channel, I ask you to subscribe below, and if you're returning, thanks for checking us out again. So this week, I'm planning on doing a couple different videos actually, and I'm planning to break up into a couple different sections. So for the first video, I want to share a little bit more about our family and kind of like what's going on with us. So the first video I'm going to do will be around that. In the future, I'll have another video which will kind of go through all my goals and how I'm progressing towards those goals. And then obviously with some of the news that I'm going to share in this next video, we'll change some of those goals and actions. So looking forward to going through that with you guys today. So as some of you may know, my wife, Evan, and I are expecting our second baby, Caleb Sherwood, on October 7th. So we're having another boy. My wife was not as excited about it as I was. I'm very excited to have two boys because I grew up with a younger brother. So for me, I really know what this is all about from my perspective. So I was kind of excited to, share this with my boys, which is kind of the way I'm affectionately calling them. And I think what I enjoyed the most about when I grew up was because my brother and I were about a 3-year age gap. My brother Matt, we were able to do and spend a lot of time together and do different things. So he often wanted to do what I was doing, but I was kind of like, well, I don't know if I really want you to. But, we became super close because there was only, that 3-year gap. So it was very fun. So my hope is that Caleb and Evan will be driving Amanda crazy and not so much me. I know when my brother and I were young, it really drove my mom crazy. So I'm hoping in this case, it'll be more Amanda than me, but who knows if there's that mother's curse that my mom will leave on me. So that way maybe I'll experience a little bit of what she did. Anyways, this is also why recently I've kind of slowed down on YouTube and just haven't been posting or being as present as much. It's just Amanda's been very sick with everything that's been going on with this pregnancy. It was quite a bit different than the last pregnancies. She was, showing symptoms sooner and just not feeling well. So I really needed to pick up the slack and, help out a lot more. I think what's also been amazing about just being able to spend more time with Evan because Amanda has not been feeling as well is that I've been getting a lot more cuddle time with Evan or close time with Evan. I always felt that was reserved more for mom, for Amanda. And so it's been really nice to be able to have where Evan was like, Daddy, I love you, or I want you. And so it's been really nice to be able to have that because I always felt Amanda and Evan always had a special connection. And it's not to say Evan doesn't love me. It's just different, and there's always going to be that difference with mom. And I think it's cool, but I'm definitely enjoying being able to be a little bit closer with Evan. So this whole change has delayed, some of my new videos that I want to share with you guys. I've done a new video recently on real estate. I wanted to do another one. I have probably about 4 other videos planned around real estate. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So the other thing that I'm planning to do is to, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is to share my progress and goals and just how things are going to change. Obviously, having a new kid is going to is going to vastly change things. And so a lot of the goals that I previously set are going to be shifted or changed a little bit. And then obviously with COVID kind of changing, it's definitely made it a little bit easier that potentially my family, my in-laws will be coming from China to visit. So I'm very excited about that. So I think that's going to cause some shifts there, but I'm excited about that. As some of you know, also in January, I started a new job. I've been with Align Technology for the last 4 years officially this May. So the entire time I've been with the same team, the global analytics team, and I've really enjoyed my time there. But at the same time, I was ready to take on a new challenge, probably for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years. I was still able to, grow in different ways, but I felt like it was time to do something different. And so it was just a matter about finding the right opportunity and exploring it and, moving forward with that. So during this time of seeking out this new opportunity the last 2 years or so, I've interviewed for probably 10 or so positions internally. I've interviewed for other positions outside, but really was interested in staying with the line because I really like the company and I like the culture. I interviewed for probably around 10 positions internally, informally, just to try to understand, what they might look like. Unfortunately, those positions, every one of them had something that just didn't make any sense for me, and it wasn't a good fit for me and my family in the situation I was in. So most of them were around traveling. There was going to be much more travel, and just at this stage right now, I want to be home to be with my family. So for that, it didn't make sense for me. But there's other opportunities where it was potentially going to push me into a direction long term that I may not want to be in. Like, it sounded like a very interesting journey, but it may have put me on a path where that may have not been the best move for my career. So it took some time. And so this new opportunity, I will be helping out with omnichannel in the analytics area, particularly with EDI. I'm really excited about it because it's something that's brand new. This part of the business hasn't existed. I'm very excited for this opportunity. I'm building a team from the ground up, being part of that build from the ground up. And I think, as most of you know me, I really enjoy new things. So trying to figure things out where things don't really exist, how do we make that happen? I love being part of those kinds of things. So on the sports side, so as many of you know, I'm a competitive badminton player, and I really love and enjoy badminton. I wake up, 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 days a week to go play badminton until about 7 a.m. before Evan wakes up and Amanda wakes up. That's the sport that I love and enjoy. Recently, they've had a couple leagues. So they had season 1, 2, and 3. And I participated in season 1 and season 3 with Quran. And season 1, we lost by 50 points. We got second place. We could have got first, but we just missed out by one loss. So if we had an additional loss or we had an additional win, we would have either tied or we would have won overall and got first place. In the third one, we actually ended up getting first place. And it was kind of crazy because the competition was just so intense. We were having to play the coaches, I think 3 out of the 4 weeks. Granted, they were playing with different partners and there was a lot of rotation, but it was very challenging, but it was a lot of fun. And I'm a firm believer in iron sharpens iron. And anytime you're in a sport or anything like that, it's about growth and progress. And growth and progress is not always in a straight linear line. Sometimes it's jagged, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's sideways, sometimes it's a little down. It just depends as part of your development. That's just the way it is. And so, really enjoyed participating in these 2 seasons with Quran. And now now unfortunately I'm going to have to take a little bit of a rest because this was happening every Friday night. And I really would like to spend more time with Amanda to be able to do stuff on Friday nights. I'd also have to leave a little early. We'd put Evan down, give him a quick bath, and then I have to go. Put a lot of pressure on myself and the family to get things done. So I think, now I'm happy that it's done and I can go back to my regular morning badminton play. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll do more of these leagues. But I did enjoy it because you get to learn, you get to play against different people that I wouldn't normally play against, which is really cool. I'm also excited with COVID starting to kind of settle, at least in the US, that potentially my mother-in-law and my father-in-law will be able to come and visit from China to be able to spend time with Evan and Caleb when he's born. So I'm really excited about that because I really want Caleb and I want Evan to have that experience with their grandparents, almost like what I had when I was growing up. I think being so close to your grandparents is super important for your development. I just want them to enjoy like what I had when I was growing up. I'm very excited about that. They'll probably stay for maybe 4 to 6 months or so. So I'm really excited about that. My father-in-law is a big ping pong player, so we'll be going to the same facility together, which would be kind of cool. He'll be going to play ping pong. I'll be going to play badminton. So I'm excited about that. Evan's also starting to learn Chinese. So he started taking his Chinese class this last week. So that's been very exciting. And I also feel like one of my goals is I really need to pick up on my Chinese because Evan is going to be learning it. And if my in-laws are coming, I should probably pick up some more Chinese so I can communicate better with them. I just think that's important. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time and try to get better with that. So this part of the video will be about current events that are going on in the world. So obviously many of you know we have the war with Russia and Ukraine going on. And it's kind of a messy war, and I'm hoping we don't get pulled into it, considering everything that's going on and World War III doesn't start. But it'll be very interesting to see how we look back on COVID and how we look back on this war with Ukraine and Russia, just to see like what it looked like from the future perspective. So I think it'll be very interesting. So as I mentioned, COVID, the US is coming out of COVID. Things are opening back up. It's been tough because some people are still very wary of it. Some people are like, hey, everything's back to normal. I tend to be a little bit more in the middle. Amanda tends to be a little bit more on the conservative side, but I think, she's looking out for us and looking out for the family and looking out for the kids. And so I think it's the right move when it comes to the kids. But unfortunately with COVID in China, they're having still a lot of lockdowns in Shanghai and Beijing, and that's really impacting a lot of people. It's just been kind of crazy how they're trying to close everything down there in China to control it. This is very hard. It's very difficult. So another hot topic, Buffalo Bills are doing very well. They did very well last year. They were basically 13 seconds from, what I would believe that they would get in, to the Super Bowl from there. It's unfortunate just, the Chiefs end up beating them. But, Josh Allen's back. I think he'll have a good season this year. It's exciting to watch the Bills because for as long as I've been watching them, and I've only been watching them since probably the JP Lossman or Holcomb era. I unfortunately did not follow them back when they were, the Jim Kelly era where they just dominated. I was not part of that. So it's been exciting to watch the Buffalo Bills have winning football. I would love to be able to go to another game at some point. I definitely enjoy that. So it'll be interesting to see how this video ages and if the Bills ever are able to actually capture a Super Bowl. So we'll see. It'll be exciting. Obviously, we have a new president, Joe Biden. He's been in the office for, I think, a couple of years now. A lot of people are blaming him for a lot of stuff. It's very polarizing, very similar to how Trump was. So it's been very interesting to kind of see that play out and daily. And I think with that, you also have inflation going up a lot. You have gas prices going up a lot. There's a lot of different things that are in play. And these inflationary levels have never been seen since the 70s. So, it's been very high. Interest rates are going up on mortgages. So it's very interesting to see like how all this is going to play out in the economy overall and to look back on this from in the future. So speaking of the, Joe Biden, there's just continuing to be a division in politics, and that there's just very much the Democrats and the Republicans, and you got to choose a side. And if you're not on one, you're not on the other, you're the enemy of both. It's just absolute craziness. And the thing is like we can't come to agree on anything. There's no middle ground on anything, which is just crazy. It's unfortunate. And then last, entertainment, current news. I would say there's two things. So there's the Will Smith slap of Chris Rock, and and that's kind of caused Will Smith's career to go down in the toilet because of something Chris Rock said something about his wife. It's kind of interesting. So we'll see how that ages out. And then, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they're in I think it's like a defamation lawsuit where Johnny Depp basically can't get any roles now. And, he's blaming on her. Who knows? Maybe it could just be because he's old. I don't know. But like this type of press I would not want. So it'll be very interesting to see like, how that plays out. Again, these last two things I care about a little less, but it just gives you a way to like look back to see like what's going on now. So this will conclude the video. And so some of you are asking, well, Mike, why the heck are you doing this video? And there's a couple of reasons. I'll explain those. So number one is to show the authenticity and just that type of person I am. I'm a real person. I make mistakes just like you. I'm just an average Joe. There's nothing special about me that's any different than you. So I think doing this kind of video just shows average Joe. or average Jill, whatever you would want to say. And I think the other thing that I'm hoping that you guys will learn from this is that we all make mistakes. We all change our mind. And actually, the thing that I would say the most about changing your mind is that I always say that I reserve the right to change my mind in light of new information. So if something changes my mind, it just means I made the best decision with the information I had at that time. And it could change. That could change. So, two, this video hopefully will be for my kids, and who knows, maybe grandkids, but definitely my kids and my family, to be able to look back to see just, what was going on at that time, the way I was thinking about things. It's more of a time capsule to kind of see the activity and what I was doing, what I was thinking about as I was becoming, the father, for my kids, for Caleb and for Evan, just to kind of see, like, as a parent, we're going through our own growth as well as like you are. So we're learning to become parents, and just hoping that, I can try to be the best version of a father I can be. I definitely know I make mistakes every day, all the time. So if anybody thinks anybody's perfect, that's just craziness. And so I'm hoping that, my kids can look back on this and see that I struggle just like they will when they become adults, and that many times I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm kind of making up as I go. It's interesting. So I even said the same thing to when I was managing people on a team, and they would ask me, they'd say, "Hey, Mike, how do you know to do this?" And I told them, I said, "You want me to tell you a little secret?" I would say most times when I'm looking at something, I don't know what I'm doing. I have to figure it out. I have to use past information and use my logical mind to come up with solutions. So same thing as when you're, parenting. There's mistakes you're going to make, and you're going to learn from them. So like you kids, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn from them. And even if I tell you not to do something, you're going to do it. And it's almost like you have to do that in order to learn on your own. So the other reason why I'm doing this also for my kids is to recall memories of what's happening now, rather than talking about in the future about a past event and I won't remember all the information. So I think stuff like this allows you to see a little glimpse or a window into the world of now, versus in the future looking back. It just is harder to recall those events because our memory is imperfect. So I think stuff like this is good. And I'm hoping it inspires other people to do this too. So for my followers, I'm hopeful that by sharing something like this, you may reflect on it and say, hey, this is something I should do. I should leave time capsules for my family, or I should just share different things with the world, because you just never know what's going to resonate and be relevant and helpful to others. And so even just a story, I'm hoping that the way I'm sharing it is something that may resonate with you, and you may learn something. That's why I do this. I don't do this, for me. I do this for my kids, but like, I don't do this for me. I'm doing this to hopefully help others. And ideally, maybe give you a different point of view on to look at things. That's what I'm hopeful for as well. So number 4, for all those people out there that are like, hey, Mike, your video is too long. You talk too much. All that other stuff. Or I'm not interested in your family. Your videos are boring. Why am I watching you? That's fine too. Hey, you put me to sleep when you talk. You learn how to edit, learn how to use a video camera. Your voice puts me to sleep. That's fine too. Or some people have seen my wife and they say, your wife is so pretty. Why is she with you? That's fine too. So what am I trying to say to all these people that are, I don't want to say haters, but like they are trying to share something with me that they think is going to bother me. And while it may, all I can say in the end, truly, to you folks, is thank you for that.